You already know what you could become. That's why it hurts. You've seen flashes of it in your ideas, in your talent, in moments where your mind works better than your life shows. But something keeps blocking you. Not laziness, not lack of skill, not bad luck. Something deeper. The old version of you is still protecting itself. And if you want the real version to rise, some parts of you have to die first. Before we go deeper, tell me where you're watching from. The first thing you must kill is the mask. Not every mask is bad. You need one at work. You need one around strangers. You need one to function in society. The problem begins when you forget it is a mask. You start acting like the role is your real self. The strong one, the funny one, the smart one, the quiet one, the successful one. And slowly your whole life becomes performance. You stop asking, what do I want? You start asking, what will keep the image alive? That is where you lose yourself. Every opinion you hide costs you something. Every desire you bury takes energy. Every version of yourself you silence becomes a weight, and the sign is exhaustion, not normal tiredness. The deep tiredness of acting like someone you are not. So how do you kill the mask? You act against it. Small at first. Say what you actually think. Admit what you actually feel. Choose something because it is true, not because it looks good. Not as rebellion, as proof. Proof that you exist outside the role. But once the mask breaks, something even harder appears. The perfect version of you that has been judging you from the shadows. The second thing you must kill is the perfect image. This is not ambition. This is not high standards. This is the voice that says, you should be further by now. You should be stronger. You should never fail. And because that image is impossible to reach, you freeze. You don't start the project because it won't be perfect. You don't speak up because you might sound wrong. You don't act because you already see the gap. That is not growth. That is shame wearing a motivational costume. The truth is simple. The perfect image was never yours. It was built from other people's expectations. What your family praised, what society rewarded, what you compared yourself to. And now you are punishing yourself for not becoming a person you never truly chose. So kill it. Not by lowering your standards, by choosing real movement over fake perfection. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Who told me I had to become this? What do I actually want? When you stop chasing the ghost, your energy comes back. And that energy becomes action. But even after that, another chain remains. The invisible loyalty to the life you came from. You almost made a decision last week, not a small one. The kind that could have changed your direction. You felt it. That pull forward, that quiet certainty. And then, something stopped you. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a small voice. Wait. Think more. Maybe later. That moment is where this begins. Because what stopped you wasn't logic. It was something you didn't choose. The third thing you must kill is inherited limitation. Some patterns are not yours. You didn't build them. You absorbed them. Before you understood money, you learned how it feels. Before you understood love, you learned how it behaves. Before you understood success, you learned how people react to it silently, through what you saw, through what you heard, through what was normal in your environment. If struggle was constant, calm feels unfamiliar. If relationships were unstable, peace feels empty. If ambition was criticized, growth feels dangerous. So now, every time life starts to improve, something inside you resists. You slow down, you hesitate, you second guess, and you call it being careful. But sometimes, it's loyalty. A hidden part of you trying not to move too far from where you came from. Because moving forward can feel like leaving people behind. And that hurts. But here's the truth most people avoid. You can love people without living their limits. You can respect your past without repeating it. You can honor your story without staying stuck inside it. So the first step is awareness. You name what you learned, not what you want to believe, what you actually absorbed. Write it clearly. I learned money leads to stress. I learned love comes with pain. I learned success creates distance. I learned being visible is risky. No judgment, just truth. Because what you can see, you can change. And what you don't see, controls you. Now comes the hard part. You let it go. Not by pretending it didn't shape you, but by deciding it doesn't get to define you anymore. Because your life is not meant to prove how hard things were. It can prove something else. That change is possible. that patterns can end, that something new can begin. But just as you break free, something else appears. The fourth thing you must kill is the need for control. This one feels smart. It sounds responsible, it looks like discipline, but it's not. It's fear. Wearing a clean shirt, planning feels safe, thinking feels productive, preparing feels like progress. So you keep doing it. You gather more information. You wait for more confidence. You try to eliminate every risk. But here's the problem. Life doesn't wait for perfect conditions, and the longer you wait, the heavier action feels. You tell yourself, I just need a little more time, but time doesn't solve fear. Action does. Control protects you from failure, but it also protects you from growth, because growth only happens when you step into uncertainty. So you don't need to feel ready. You need to move anyway. Send the message, start the idea, make the choice, not blindly, but honestly, because clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from it. And once you start moving, something shifts. But one more thing can still hold you back. The fifth thing you must kill is the victim story. This one is dangerous because it often starts with truth. Something happened. Maybe it was unfair. Maybe it hurt. Maybe it changed you. And acknowledging that matters. But when that story becomes your identity, it traps you. Because if your life is defined by what happened, then your future feels out of your control. You start explaining instead of acting. You start justifying instead of changing. You start waiting instead of moving. And slowly, your past becomes your limit. But power comes from a different place. You can say, yes, that happened, and also say, I still choose what happens next. Both can be true. Your pain can be real, and your responsibility can still exist. That's where strength comes from. Not denying what happened, but refusing to let it decide everything. Because once you take responsibility, even in small ways, you take your life back. But there is one more layer. One most people never admit. The sixth thing you must kill is the fear of success. People talk about fear of failure, but fear of success is quieter and stronger. Because success changes things. It changes how people see you. It changes what they expect from you. It changes your environment. And not all of those changes feel safe. So right before things start working, you pull back, you delay, you distract yourself, you lose focus. Not because you can't win, but because winning feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels risky. So you choose what you know, even if what you know keeps you stuck. That's why people sabotage progress. They don't trust what comes after it. But growth always feels uncomfortable at first. Not because it's wrong, because it's new. So when you feel that fear, don't interpret it as a warning. See it as a signal. You're close. And the final thing you must kill is the idea that you are fixed. The seventh thing you must kill is the fixed self. You are not one version. You are not locked into one identity. But your mind wants stability. It wants something solid to hold on to. So it creates a story. This is who I am. This is how I act. This is what I do. And once you believe that, change feels like losing yourself. But you've changed before. Many times. The person you were years ago is not who you are now. And the person you are now is not final. The old version of you was built for old situations, different pressures, different needs, different environments. So if that version starts breaking, let it. That's not failure. That's evolution. Because the real you is not something you create. It's something you uncover. Under the patterns, under the fear, under the habits that were never truly yours. But you can't uncover it if you keep protecting everything that hides it. There's something most people miss. None of these things disappear on their own. You have to let them go, on purpose. So ask yourself one question. What part of me am I still protecting that I've already outgrown? That answer changes everything. There is one thing I didn't say at the start. Your potential is not waiting for more. It is waiting for less. Less mask, less fear, less old identity. So today, choose one thing you are ready to kill. Comment what it is. I'd love to hear it.